You know, when the announcement came over yesterday, June 20th, that Donald Sutherland passed away, my thoughts went back to the first time I saw him as an actor. No, it wasn't The Saint, it wasn't any of these British productions, it wasn't Dirty Dozen. I think it was 5 or 6 years old when I saw MASH for the first time, and my dad reminded me, hey, this guy's from Bridgewater and St. John. And I said to myself, what the hell is a maritimer with a maritime or New Brunswick accent doing in a big Robert Altman movie? I even knew that back then. So today we're not talking about Hawkeye, the Alan Alda version. We're talking the Donald Sutherland version. Now, if you've never seen the movie before, it's very simple. Hawkeye is the kind of lead character of the movie. He's assigned to a MASH unit in Korea, and he comes in around the same time. A character called Duke, played by Tom Skerritt, basically is replacement doctors for the MASH unit. Now, it starts out very interestingly because he's waiting for his driver to drive him to the unit, and Tom Skerritt shows up, assumes that Donald Sutherland is the driver, and they both take off and he go to the MASH unit. And when Tom Skerritt finally finds out or is told that this is his new co-worker at the MASH unit, you know, Sutherland shows his papers and does the whistle, which is a character in itself in the movie. Now, as the film goes on, we find out many things about Hawkeye. He's not scared to tell the truth, especially a famous scene where Duke's character is getting attracted to a nurse, and in a silent way, Hawkeye has to tell him she's a lesbian, which was kind of avant-garde for 1970. But as the scenes go on, it really gets freaky when not only the Elliot Gould character shows up in a parka. What the hell is somebody using a parka in the middle of Korea with a bottle of olives in his jacket? You're familiar, sir. And he's using his interactions with lines and different stuff. It's typical what they call Atlantic Canadian slang. How's she going? And stuff like that. And when Hot Lips O'Houlihan, not Houlihan, but O'Houlihan, played to the hilt by a young actress that got a supporting actress nomination in the movie, it's really freaky because it's not something you expect. Now, she's considered the character considered regular army, but the way Sally Kellerman plays it, she's bundled up in, I don't know what you would call it, sexual heat. And the famous scene where they're sitting across from each other, he said, I call you a regular army clown. He said, the best of my ability, I would invite you back to my bed. We can share a bottle of liquor together. And he said, maybe you would have come, but or join me. And it's kind of weird as it goes on. The Elliot Gould character is prioritized in the second half, but the first half of the movie, it's all Donald Sutherland. And especially the famous sequence where the dentist, who's the kind of the lover of the group, thinks he's gay because he can't perform, and he sets it up to allow him to perform again, where I think it's Lieutenant Dish, he asks Lieutenant Dish to basically try to bring him out of these doldrums. He's the catalyst, he's the straw that stirs the drink. And when the movie ends, it's him leaving with on the Jeep that he came in, because they get their papers to go home. I think it's maybe he was there 8 or 9 months. Of course, they have all the sequence with golfing. You have the all the sequence where he's trying to help a young Korean houseboy for being brought into the army or shanghaied, no pun intended. But his interactions with the Robert Duvall, the famous scene where he's sitting across the way when Duvall and Hot Lips are having their first tryst together, and a camp mic is put underneath their bed. You can hear their sexual moanings. And he said, and O'Houlihan says, "Kiss my hot lips." And Hawkeye was been trying to get rid of Major Burns, played by, of all people, Robert Duvall, who rarely plays what I call a romantic villain, and that's what he is here. And Donald Sutherland's character is kind of goading him along. He said, you know, did her big ass show, and did she moan or whatever? And Duvall's character attacks him, and he was trying a way to get him out of the MASH unit, and this is what happened. But ladies and gentlemen, it's a very subtle performance because every scene is different from the last. And every scene, I don't think Robert Altman gave him much direction, even though with certain actors and actresses, Altman had to give people a lot of direction. I'm looking at Carol Burnett and Warren Beatty sometimes and all that. But how it works in this performance, you look at it as an American and saying, oh, it's a really strong performance. But as a Canadian, he's doing the accent, the Canadian accent or the East Coast accent, and the subtleties of the performance. Only a Maritimer, and I hope you take this the right way. You look at the comedy of Trailer Park Boys. A lot of the Trailer Park Boys style comedy in relation to sarcasm as an effort to hide what's going on really in their life, because Ricky and Bubbles and Julian are fighting against the system every day, and they use Leahy as a catalyst to bring that out. And the same type of attitude. I know it's a weird connection, but I see that, and I see that as a Canadian. American watching MASH are not going to get the same gist of it that we do as Canadians. So it comes down to this. Why wasn't Donald Sutherland nominated for Best Actor or even Best Supporting Actor for this performance in MASH, where he guided Sally Kellerman to her Best Supporting Actress nomination, that key scene again when they're talking about Major Burns and talking about the fact she might be a little bit more regular army than she wants to let on. Well, could it be his connection with radical causes, his connection with Jane Fonda? Allegedly, there was either an affair going on in '71, the time of the vote, or the fact maybe he pissed off the establishment in the voting bloc because he wasn't Jewish, he wasn't gay, and he wasn't American. Because through the years, we've had great Canadian actors. Look at Jim Carrey, never nominated. Christopher Plummer, only nominated late. The two Ryan, stuff like that. It seems like a misnomer. The biggest problem with the Academy, they only see what they want to see. If you really look at that performance by Donald Sutherland compared to his performance in The Dirty Dozen, where he plays a mental deficient that's basically being used mentally and physically to do the dirty work for the people that incarcerated him in the first place. It's kind of weird. But it's one of the most important characters in 1970 movie annals. We always go back to the movie, and he started the decade with MASH and ended with Ordinary People, and the 1970s really belonged to him because he picked and chose his movies. Most of them, maybe 70%, were not only totally watchable, they're classics. And even Invasion of the Body Snatchers, Don't Look Now, his various war movies he did as well, Kelly's Heroes. I think Donald Sutherland is passing. There's only one good thing about it, and people are going to be respecting him more. He said you only respect somebody when they're dead. James Dean wasn't fully respected as an actor until he died, and his minions went crazy over his life. I think what it'll do for people under the age of 40, and there's quite a few out there, who maybe never saw Donald Sutherland besides the key movies and the Hunger Games, will go look at his whole body of work. In like the Bethune, double shot he did, Norman Bethune, is quite interesting because he was what you call a Canadian centrist like I am, and that was trouble in Hollywood. And all I know, ladies and gentlemen, the Sutherland legacy, it's just like the Barrymores, it's just like the Redgraves. You look at Kiefer, you look at Shirley Douglas. For God's sake, his father-in-law was the guy who saved Canada, Tommy Douglas, the leader of the CCF and NDP when we needed social outreach. No wonder I vote NDP. So every NDP voter owes a lot to Tommy Douglas and Shirley Douglas and Donald Sutherland because he spoke for us. So he was always on the screen. What you saw is what you get. So ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be doing a series of Donald Sutherland podcasts for the remainder of the month. We did one on the Expos. I'm thinking about doing something on Ordinary People. I did something in that previously. But what led to him taking on the part besides the call of the Expo game from his agent? So, ladies and gentlemen, to best celebrate Donald Sutherland, pick your favorite movie and give us a comment on why you like it. Let me know what movie by Donald Sutherland really stood out, or if you didn't like one of his performances, tell me about that too. I'd like to hear you. Have a good one, and don't forget, Game 6 tonight. It's going to be rocking. Bye.